We shouldn't have to live like this.
We have been reporting on what some residents call poor conditions at several Shreveport apartment buildings. In this recent case, a woman says she's been dealing with unsanitary conditions for many, many months. Madison Beam talked to the woman today about her plight and is here now with more. Madison.
Greg, the Cooper Road Plaza Apartments is located on Peach Street. Residents say they have been having problems for months. I spoke to the woman about what she has been going through there.
This is Elizabeth Butler. She has been living in her apartment for about a year and said she's been having problems since day one. She says the outside of the apartments look fine, but the inside is a different story.
We wanted to get our environment straight and livable. We have kids, mold, mildew, and it's like they worry more about the outside than the inside.
Butler says the living conditions are more than just visual.
My child has been sick multiple times. He had broke out real bad. I had to go take him to the hospital. I had to replace my food because a rat had ate my food. I had to come out of my pocket.
She says she received this paper about a HUD inspection happening on April 8th. A few days before that, the complex repaired her ceiling that has looked like this for 11 months. However, she says the work wasn't done right and is already starting to bubble.
If they're not going to fix our apartments right, close it down, give us vouchers, we shouldn't have to live like this with kids. We shouldn't have to go through this.
Councilwoman Tabitha Taylor visited the complex and had this to say.
But they're forced to live in conditions that I consider to be inhumane and deplorable.
Ultimately, Butler says she has done everything she could to get help.
I went to corporate, everything I can do. I just want to help our people live better than this. We don't have to live like this.
I spoke to City Attorney Marcus Edwards to see if he had any information on the results from the inspection. He said he hasn't heard anything yet. I also called the Cooper Road Plaza Apartments, and the woman who answered the phone said they had nothing to say about the maintenance of the building. KTBS is continually looking into the conditions of Shreveport's apartment complexes. We will keep you updated.
The city just issued a press release that it plans to disconnect water service at the Jolie Apartments, the Pines Apartments, and Villa Norte, all on May the 14th. It is because of out-of-town landlords who have not paid the water bills. Other utilities may also be disconnected that day. And it's a result of a story that we told you about, in fact, earlier today: unsafe living conditions, squatters, and management not returning to the property. That is the situation at the Jolie Apartments in Shreveport. Management has told everyone it is in their best interest to move out because they won't be on site and may have to shut off all utilities. Brittany Breeding gives us a closer look at this situation.
A shock for Jolie apartment residents as they got an email Tuesday night stating management would not be back on the property and utilities could be cut off. When people came to the leasing office Wednesday morning, they found this note on the door confirming what that email said.
And I was just, stunned and highly disappointed and scared.
Those who live at the Jolie Apartments being encouraged to move out. Management says squatters have broken into a large number of units, causing damage and not paying for utilities they're using. They state many other residents aren't paying rent, some with balances over $16,000. Now, all utilities cocould be shut off.
I just recently paid my rent, paid all my bills. I'm financially drained, and now I'm pressured into a situation where I'm going to end up possibly homeless.
They were telling us that the notice on the door was unclear and that the electricity is not getting shut off today, but it might eventually. All of the utilities might.
And as to when that could happen, it's unclear.
They did say we could get a 24-hour notice that our electricity is going to get shut off, or a couple weeks notice. They're not sure.
Residents say issues at this apartment complex aren't new.
We've heard shooting in the parking lot. We've heard yelling, screaming in the middle of the night. We've had people come up to our door and try to open the door. It's just unsafe. I haven't had hot water in a month and a half.
KTBS 3 saw several people already moving out Wednesday, but others don't have anywhere to go.
Even if I did have another plan of action, I wouldn't be able to afford it.
Management here inside the office would not comment on this issue, and the number that we called did not have an answer. Reporting in Shreveport, I'm Brittany Breeding, KTBS 3 News.
City officials are working with community organizations to help the tenants find alternative housing. If you need help, contact the Department of Community Development. 3 Investigates has new information about the owner of apartments at the center of the housing crisis here in Shreveport. Brittany Breeding has been our lead reporter on this story since the very beginning. Brittany, what more do you have?
Jaco Samoa owns Villa Norte, The Pines, Linwood Homes, and Forest Oaks. They're 4 of 9 apartment complexes targeted by city officials for providing substandard housing. Today, we learned that Samoa just paid $16 million for this building in New York's Chinatown neighborhood. We dug even deeper and found that Samoa is part owner of Shigosha Family Homes. The company builds custom homes in Northport, Florida. The starting price for those, $445,000. Samoa is referred to as Yuki on the company's website. He and his brother Isaac boast 25 years of experience in real estate in the U.S., Europe, and Israel, and provide, quote, excellent service and building homes.
Hello?
Hi, is this Mr. Isaac Samoa?
Yes?
Hi, this is Brittany with KTBS 3 News. I was wondering, what is your reaction to your brother facing misdemeanor charges in Shreveport for the apartment complexes? Samoa's New York deal was reported on Tuesday, the same day he was arraigned in Shreveport City Court. He did not show up in person, and his attorney entered a not guilty plea to criminal blight charges. He's accused of what the city calls repeated property standards violations. His trial set for August 2nd. Samoa's company, Shreveport Amar Holdings, owns 2 of 3 complexes where residents are being forced to relocate. The city plans to shut off utilities to The Pines, Villa Norte, and Jolie apartments tomorrow. We've also reported that Samoa's company owes the city more than $360,000 in unpaid water bills. Back to you, Johnette.
All right. Thanks, Brittany. Great reporting. And this afternoon, we were there as Providence House volunteered help relocating a former resident of the Pines apartments. Landlords handed the keys to a new home to Lakeisha George. She and her 2 daughters are ready for a new beginning.
I feel actually excited. Like, I'm not stressed anymore. I'm actually happy. Like, I'm very thankful and I'm very grateful.
Not all people are bad, but you do have people with extreme wealth who do not care about poor people. They just care about amassing more wealth. And this is just a shining example of what happens when the community does not step in and say, not in our backyard, not in our city, not in our community. And that's what we're all standing up saying, not here, not ever again.
And Howard says their goal is to relocate every resident by the end of the day tomorrow.
Water has now been shut off at 3 Shreveport apartment complexes, Villa Norte, Jolie, and The Pines. At the Jolie, electricity was also turned off today. Now the residents still left behind are trying to figure out what to do and where to go. I visited all 3 complexes today and show you what's happening. Left in the dark, residents at Jolie quickly working to get moved out after electricity and water was shut off.
I woke up this morning from my breathing machine turned off, so and the fan was not working.
I'm irritated, I'm mad as hell, because first of all, like, I understand, like, y'all gave us a deadline, but y'all could have cut the electricity out maybe, at nighttime to give us enough time to leave from out of here.
Many of the residents have found other housing, but some are still trying to find a new place or waiting several days until their new apartment is move-in ready. They tell me it's been hard.
I went to almost 5 different locations, and they all told me they couldn't approve me based upon the fact that I'm on Social Security disability. My income was not sufficient. Another place, it was because my record. I have a felony that's 4.5 years old.
Families I spoke with at the Pines and Villa Norte tell me they have found other housing, but one has to wait until June 10th. The other has to wait until the end of June.
For management to be out, they're worried for their safety, but they leave us hanging.
The Pines and Villa Norte property manager, who's only identified as Barbara, also handed out this letter to residents. But many tell me they didn't receive it. It states that everyone has to be out by the end of the day, and that if anyone takes appliances, they'll be prosecuted. It also urges residents to move into Egan Arms or Hidden Cove, property it's Barbara also manages. I tried calling her to get some answers about the letter.
Barbara speaking.
Hey, this is Brittany with KTBS 3 News. City officials say they're still working to help those left behind.
But even though the utilities are cut off, we want you to know that we're still working to try to find those displaced residents housing within the city of Shreveport.
We're still working to find out an exact number of residents still looking for housing. Shreveport city officials are taking steps to ensure that what's happening at the Jolie, Pines, and Villa Norte apartments doesn't happen again. Today, the Property Standards Committee met with its main focus being on preventing more landlords from slipping through the cracks and taking advantage of Shreveport residents. Members of the Property Standards Committee want to make sure that landlords in the area are held accountable for their property. One way they're hoping to do that, cracking down on the apartment complexes that do not have certificates of occupancy. And then once the complexes do have that certificate, they want inspections done regularly. They say that isn't being done right now. Councilwoman Tabitha Taylor also suggesting the city look at how water meters are handled so that this master meter issue doesn't happen again.
Because it's not only just going to be a lesson just for the city of Shreveport, but all utility companies. It gives us an opportunity to go back and retweak the way that we do things. As I said before, challenges breed opportunities. It's opportunities for us to do better.
Another thing brought up in the meeting, demolitions. The city says right now bids are out for demolitions of buildings at Villa Norte, Oak Meadows, and Linwood Homes. Demolition on Woodlawn Terrace is halted because the bank has seized that property from the owner.